I got disconnected in between. So how far you we discussed? I mean, how far it was audible to you until here? The creation of address. Hello.
Can you share the screen?
Oh, I'm sorry, not sharing the screen. Yeah. Is it visible enough?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So until this far it was clear, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we can also edit this address and add a map to this address, or you can add one more address here. So I'm going for adding the address. Okay. So I'll go for adding address. Name is Sahara Limited. Delivery address, or I can normally give it as Sahara Limited only once again, but this time I'll select the purpose as delivery for returning of goods to. So to which particular address we have to deliver those goods if we have to return. I can select it. I can select India. So I can select warehouse 10, Shamshabad village. I can select like that. Then I can give the same Hyderabad city name. Then I don't have to select anything primary here because I have selected one address as primary. If I select this as primary enough, what happens is this one will get disabled to no, and the new address will get the primary status. I don't want to do that, so I'm just clicking on OK. See, I have here Sahara Limited second address. I can also add one more address, which is for the purpose of remit to send the checks. So if you don't have remit to address or delivery address, what happens is system will automatically pick this business address for all the purposes, whether for delivery of goods or for remittance. System will automatically pick that pick the same business address. But if you have different addresses for different purposes, addresses with different purposes, then you can system will automatically pick that addresses according to the situation. So I'm selecting this remit to address. Okay, purpose as remit to. Select again as India. Okay, then I can give one more address here to which particular address I want to send the check to. So if they want me to send the check to any different address, I can give a different address. Like I can give building 45 at 10 Mirpet. Just a different address. And I can give city again as Hyderabad. And I can save it. Now you can see there are three addresses: business address, delivery address, and remit to address. Suppose if I want to print check on a different name other than Sahara, suppose if I want to print the check on the name of Ravi, I can add one more address here. Same remit to, I'll give purpose, I'll give it as Ravi. Then I'll select the purpose as remit to only once again. Second remit to address. So I can give a different address like 2-345. This one is host number, right? Okay. Chintal. Go with Hyderabad only. Okay, didn't I give it as India here? Sorry. India is given. Perfect. Then I have city. I can give Hyderabad. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Hello. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, JP.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
perfect. So I'm giving one more address here as Chintal like this, and then I can save it. So there are 4 addresses now, 2 addresses for remit to. Suppose if I want to print check on this person's name rather than on Sahara Limited, and if vendor asks so, I can print the check with this name. So in interview, they will ask this question. If in case vendor name is something something and you want to print the check on another name, how you can achieve it? You can achieve it by adding a one more remit to address with that particular name. Okay, while printing vendor, while doing vendor payment journal, while you use the method of payment check, there you will get a situation to pick the address as remit to address. So system will automatically pick the remit to address. So you have to select one as a default address, or you can change a one. You can change select any of one from these two. Okay, because which particular address. Bala, do you have any doubt? Okay. So I'll show you during vendor payment journal how to select remit to address. Okay, so that's our next step in the process. Actually, I'll show you. So this is all about creating different addresses for the vendor and giving. Okay, so this sound from some. Can okay. So all of you be on mute actually. So if you have any doubt, then we can unmute. Okay. So this is with the addresses. So I'm closing this menu. Then I have this information of contact details. You can add contact details, like you can add phone number, phone, business. So you can select phone or email or URL, telex, fax, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, anything. If you select phone, you can give that number. Like you can give any number like this. 10 digits, and you can give the extension like +91 or 040 like that. And if it is a primary contact number, you can select it as primary. Then you can add email. So here you can select the email address. Then you can give an email address. Give help us get the rate of Sahara. Sorry. .com. Then you can add one more. Like you can add URL, company's website. Okay, you can add URL. Sahara.com. You can add Facebook, your link of that particular vendor, your Twitter link or LinkedIn link. You can just copy the link from the web and paste it here. See you wish. You can maintain. You can also add more phone numbers also. Just like that, you can give one more phone number, phone, warehouse, phone only. You can give a different number. So this. Give. Okay, all of these are maintainable. You can add anything, you can delete, remove anything. If you want to edit it, you can click on edit here and edit. Normally you can edit here. You can click on edit and edit these details. Okay. You can add as many details as you want here in the contact information. Clear guys, any confusion in this part? Contacts? Anyone, or either in the addresses previously that we have discussed? No, right?
No.
Okay, thank you. Then I'll close these two parts. Then I have certain miscellaneous details. You can give credit rating to the vendor. Credit rating like how efficient he is according to your, or according to the market credit rating, you can give one, or according to your credit rating. If you have a credit rating for your vendors, you can give one. I don't know why we give credit rating. Normally credit rating is given to customers, not to vendors, but you can give one. Then you can give a credit limit. Suppose how much credit I can take from the vendor. Suppose if I give it as 50,000. So if I am buying anything more than 50,000 on credit from the vendor, normally we buy it on credit only, right? We order it on credit. And if I am buying anything on credit which is exceeding more than 50,000, system will throw an error message saying that you are exceeding the credit limit. Vendor allows only 50,000 credit for you. Okay, suppose if there is an outstanding balance for the vendor that we have to pay, like there is already 2 or 3 invoices open which are totaling up to 30,000. Okay, already we have to pay 30,000 to the vendor. We still owe some credit which has to be paid to the vendor. At this point, if you are doing a new purchase order, though the limit will be like 20,000. already we have 30,000 credit, right? So if you go exceed anything more than 20,000, system will throw the error message getting the credit limit. So again, for this credit limit to be considered, we have certain parameters in accounts payable parameters, how it should work and all. We'll see their value go accounts. In this way, you can give individual credit limits to vendors. Okay, keep this point in mind. I'm not giving any credit limit. I'll just remove this credit limit. Even though I give, it works only when I enable the parameters regarding credit limit, how it should function. That's all. So, so if you want to maintain, you can maintain credit limit. And then buyer group, you can categorize this people as groups actually. So this is fall into supply chain. I don't think any link to this buyer group in finance side, but I think for the supply chain team for to prepare any reports or to categorize the vendors as groups into different buyer groups, we can keep it. So normally there are different buyer groups within our within the organization itself. So there can be different buyer groups in the procurement team. So I think we can give that, create buyer groups and give it here. There is another group for rebate group actually. So this is for rebates. So it's not a prominent process in India and other countries. Mostly in US, they not in US actually. In the Middle East, they will use this rebate process, and that too for specific businesses in service sector like movie tickets or cinema halls, or as well as any function halls like that, which they would lease usually. So on those kind of businesses, they normally have rebates. And if this vendor is giving any rebate to us for taking any service or anything, then we can give a rebate group and assign it here. Or create a rebate group and assign this rebate group here. How much rebate is giving? 10% rebate group we can give here like that. That's all. So important one in the miscellaneous details is this credit limit only. Okay. So whenever you see this error message of credit limit when you are doing any transactions for a vendor, come to this place or go to the accounts payable parameters. So that those are the two places that guide this credit limit part. Okay. Then vendor profile. So it's just a tick mark. What kind of vendor he is, you can give bid only vendor. If he is a one-time supplier, you'll see this part. What is a one-time supplier? Or is a locally owned vendor, small business, woman owner, minority owned, woman in a service veteran, owner is a service veteran, sorry, owner is disabled. It's a hub zone which is having some kind of benefits of hub. So you can give that here if you want to give. Not necessary, but if you have anything specific regarding the vendor, like if it is a woman owner, you can give woman owner like that. That's all. Then we have purchasing demographics, which out of which most important one is currency here. See, if it by default takes the accounting currency of the company as US dollar. If at all he is a foreign vendor, suppose it's not, it's a domestic vendor, I know. If it is a foreign vendor, you can give a different currency here other than US dollar. You can give any other currency like Euro or India INR or any other currency. So tomorrow we'll create a vendor for which we will give a foreign currency. Okay, so you can change it now also if you want to. You can erase it and you can give another currency. At any point of time, you can change the currency for the vendor. What happens is if you give a default currency here, whenever you do any transaction, invoice or any payment, so normally it will be accounted in that particular foreign currency rather than in US dollar. Again, it depends for products, or if you give default prices as in local currency, system will automatically take the converted currency into the foreign currency. So for foreign vendors, we usually give this foreign currency here. Okay, remember that point. Then this primary contact, you can create some primary contacts for this. I mean, you can go to right click and create some primary contacts. However, we have some contacts here already. You can also maintain one here. So this is entirely for supply chain team. Line of business. What is their line of business? Line of business is like there is manufacturing company or B2B company or B2C company or what kind of a business they hold. You can give. Employee responsible is usually the employee who is responsible for this vendor. Employee of our company who normally takes care about this vendor activities. You can give that particular person name. If there is one employee who usually talk to this vendor or do the business with this vendor or buy goods from this vendor and talk about the settlements. So you can give that one employee name here. This is the list of employees that I have in my organization. So all these are which I have in USMFI actually. For it will be organization wise. So you can give that employee name here. This is my company employees. Okay. Then segment of business, sub-segment of business you can give like retail within retail. So agro retail, like that kind of sub segments. And if there is any change you can give, or if any specific notes that you want to give or record here for the vendor, like vendor does this kind of business and we will normally supply this type of goods to us, you can maintain that notes here. Okay, most of them are related to supply chain. I mean, not even to supply chain, it's just maintainable field, that's all, nothing specific. You can just give the details and that will just remain like that. Okay, and there is no use of them, just for maintenance sake only we'll fill those details. Okay, so that's all. The important part is here is this one, currency. Then there are some things related here in invoice and delivery, out of which one important thing that you have to understand is this one, invoice account. Okay, so this invoice account is a process where whenever you do invoice to the vendor, it usually takes this vendor account only. But here you can give a different vendor account, so that when you do vendor for this particular vendor, invoice for this particular vendor, it will go to a different vendor. So document, where is this PM? Okay. Suppose if there are, assume that there are 3 vendors. Okay. I would say Tata company is a vendor. Okay. Tata 1 and Tata 2 are another 2 suppliers who are belonging to Tata company only. But Tata is a parent company. These 2 are subsidiary vendors from whom I normally buy goods. So sometimes I order with Tata 1, sometimes I order with Tata 2. Okay, I can do business with Tata 1 and Tata 2. But the invoice process that I do for Tata 1 will normally be invoiced for Tata company only directly. And the payments that I do will be gone for Tata company. Okay, just for the sake of maintaining or for delivering the goods, we use this particular vendor codes. But the main company is this one only. So whenever we do invoice for Tata 1, the invoice will be done for Tata company directly. So how it will be done means when you create Tata 1 account, vendor account, you have to give the invoice account as Tata company, the main company account. So this is, for suppose this is vendor 1 and this is vendor 2 and this is vendor 3. Okay. So suppose that I am in vendor 2. So this is vendor 2. So assume that, which is a subsidiary company, and this is the main company for which we have to do the invoices. Even though we do invoice for this vendor, it will automatically go to this vendor. When it will go? When we assign that vendor 1 here in the invoice account. Okay, here system will automatically pick this invoice account while we do invoices, and invoice will be done for this account, and payments also will be can be done for this account, because if we do invoice will show pending for vendor 1 rather than for vendor 2. It will shift the invoice from vendor 2 to vendor 1 actually, if you give it here. Okay, not most of them will follow this, but there are certain Asian companies only usually follow this. If they have 3 supplier units for one particular vendor, they can create this kind of process, one main vendor and 2 subsidiary vendors. For this vendor 3 also they will give invoice account as Tata company, so that whenever we do invoices for these 2 vendors, automatically invoice will be posted for this vendor, and payment also can be done to this vendor only. He is the main person. These 2 are just suppliers who are linked to the main company. So that's the uses of this vendor invoice. If we don't use any invoice account here, normally if you do invoice for vendor 2, it will go for vendor 2 only. If you do invoice for vendor 3, it will go for vendor 3 only. It won't pick any other vendor account. That's the key point. So remember this, not mostly will face this scenario, But if somebody asks in interview regarding this kind of scenario, you better explain this part, invoice account. Okay, clear, right? The situation, any confusion for anyone? Hello? Vamshi is on call.
No,
Yes, sir.
clear.
Okay, Seshu, is it clear? So Sheila, is it clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, fantastic. Once after we configure everything, we'll see this example, or you can try something later. Once we go to some process activities, you can use this. You can give one invoice account here and post some transactions and see. Okay. Then we have one option called number sequence group. Actually, here this is most prominently used in European countries and mostly in Italy. They'll have different number sequence group for each vendor. So whenever we do transactions, normally if we post any invoices or any payments, normally it takes vouchers from the accounts payable parameters. We have accounts payable parameters where we have voucher numbers or number sequences, common number sequences. From there it will take. But here you can give separate number sequence group for this vendor, which means like whenever we do transactions with this vendor, it will take unique number sequences from this number sequence group. Here we can create a number sequence group actually, and suppose we assume that we have this number sequence group Italy EU vendors. It's not showing anything, Italy domestic vendors. Here it should show usual, so I'll create one as test group. Okay, test, and I'll save it. Once I save it, I should get details here. So for different purposes we can give different number sequences specifically here. See here for accounts receivable free text invoice we can give. So give here. You can give this specific group to a lot of vendors. Okay, false numbers, you create different number sequence groups and you can give it for different vendors or a group of vendors like that. Each group you can give for a set of vendors rather than for a single vendor. So it's a bit complex process and it'll create a lot of confusion in accounting or voucher picking and evaluation. Mostly in Italy only they will use it, or the few of the European countries they use it, this number sequence groups. Not most of them will use it because they wish to have a kind of pattern for same pattern for all the vendors. That's all. Then we have this one, vendor price tolerance group. This is into supply chain actually. We can give some price tolerances for the vendors to get the price higher or lower than particular to a particular rate or percentage. So we can give tolerances here. So vendor exception group. Again, this falls into supply chain only, nowhere related to us. We have this offset account actually to select a default offset account, but I don't see this option available for US. I don't see this option available for any country actually. But you can give
There's a lot of difference in
whenever
disturbance.
you are doing invoice, a vendor normal invoice. Okay, is it clear enough or any issue yet?
Yeah, now clear. Can you please explain this offset account again?
Okay, this one. Whenever you create any invoice journal, normally it will pick an expense offset account automatically by default. If there is such situation, it will normally pick from here. But we usually give the expense account there itself. I mean, while creating the invoice, we manually give. Here for US company, I don't think we have this.
Again, there is a disturbance.
I think I have connected it with my mobile data. My Wi-Fi is not working properly. Let me see if my Wi-Fi is here. How about now? You able to hear me properly?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
wonderful. So we'll discuss this delivery menu. So most of which are into supply chain only. You can give delivery terms. You can define specific delivery terms for the vendor, or you can define specific mode of delivery through which the vendor deliver goods to us, like shipment, truck, or any other mode of transport delivery. You can give destination codes. We don't specifically have destination codes because we have addresses separately for delivery addresses of our company to which vendor have to deliver the goods to. Then most important part is this one, sales tax groups. You can give a default sales tax group to this vendor, or if you have given it for the group, it will automatically default here for the vendor. When we are creating yesterday vendor groups, we have seen this field sales tax group. If you would have given it there, it will default normally here, or you can also change it. If it is defaulted, you can change it and keep another sales tax group also. Okay, then this functionality prices include sales tax. Normally we have discussed this part during journal creation, how sales tax has to be calculated. It has to be calculated on the base amount, or it has to be included within the amount of the invoice. So that then we can give tax exemption number if they have an exemption number for the vendor. Then we can give a withholding tax group. So withholding tax groups or TDS or TCS, something like that we have. So we can give that default withholding tax group. So we will discuss this part in tax module. Okay, giving tax groups and withholding tax groups. So other than this, what else we have? I'll try to look it. So we have certain things related to charge group. Some noise from somebody. I think it's from Sidhu. I'm just muting. So we have charge groups, site and warehouse for delivering the goods. By default, site and warehouse to which the vendor can deliver the goods to. Then we can give item vendor group. Actually, this charge group and item vendor group we'll discuss in the further steps, where we can give automatic charge codes to the vendor. So whenever he is delivering any goods, or creating a purchase order for the vendor, it will automatically take that charge. So for that we can give. So most of them again fall into supply chain, but you can look into this field. So most of them are relatable fields only. Like that. Then we have payment. This is entirely for finance side. You can give the default terms of payment for this vendor. See, you have terms of payments already selected. You can give net 30 days default terms of payment. You can give a default method of payment. In which method of payment you normally has to pay this vendor. So check will be the default method of payment. Then payment specification, if there is any payment schedule, you can give one payment schedule, but most of them are more than 30 days, right? Schedule. So I'm not giving one. Then you can give a cash discount. Like you can give one cash discount code 3% 30 days, or you can give pay it in 10 days, 10% 10 days. Then bank account. This field normally appears from here. If we configure a bank account for the vendor, we'll see this tomorrow. I mean, this menu details all we'll see tomorrow. So bank account normally comes from here. Payment day you can assign here. Payment ID normally vary, right, for every payment. So no need to give payment ID. Payment day you can give one, but if you are giving terms of payment, there is no need of payment day. I feel like you can give either terms of payment or payment day, anything. Cash discount, normal, always, never. Means normal means if there is cash discount, it will calculate. Always means it would always calculate some cash discount. Then never means it will never calculate the cash discount. Actually, this will be normal only most of the time. We can change it during the payment time also, if it has to be normal or always or never. Then central bank purpose codes is specific to US again. You can give a specific code and purpose text. If we have any, what would we say? Notification we have given to the bank, suppose that to pay on regular basis to this vendor, or if you have told the bank that for this vendor every month you send this particular amount, like the credit card installment we pay, right? Or like any kind of installments we pay. So in that case, you can give some codes and purpose details for the vendors. I think that is the only information we can give here. Then we have something for tax 1099. This is entirely for US only. This tax 1099 is in US only. So we are not talking about this part. This is also called as federal tax in US 1099. Okay. Specific to US clients only, they have 1099 and that too on the vendor side. Okay. Then we have retail. If at all it's a retail company or your client is a retail company, then you can maintain all these fields to which particular the details you can link it to the in retail actually exchange rates. If you have a fixed exchange rate for this vendor transactions, if it is a foreign vendor and if you have fixed exchange rates, you can give a fixed exchange rate. Normally exchange rate will differ from day to day, right? So it will automatically take that day's exchange rate from the exchange rates we have created. But if you want only fixed exchange rate, you can give it here. Then price rounding, normally none, or rounding or price points. It depends again on the method you select. If you select price points, you have to create a group and select. So if it is retail, normally they have a lot of transactions, right? So they'll be very keen about this exchange rates and roundups. Then vendor type, own vendor or third party vendor. You can select one. Third party vendor means it's like Amazon and Flipkart. So they are third party vendors. We buy from them, but they are not the one who actually make or make the goods. So they will just take the order and send some message to one company which is holding that goods, and they will deliver the goods to our address. Kind of, right? So that is why we can select if it is a own vendor or third party vendor. So there are certain other things for retail hierarchy and replenishment and variants. So you can select few, and most important is this one, financial dimensions. So you can select default financial dimensions for the vendor. So default financial dimension like department. So normally who will buy goods from this vendor? I'll say operations department will buy it, or procurement team. So I can give that department here. Then I can give a location. So mostly Hyderabad location only will buy goods from this. So I'm giving Hyderabad location all the time. If not, if it is and all locations will buy goods from this vendor, we can deselect this and we can select it during the transaction. What happens if I select here is whenever I'm doing any invoice or payment, system will automatically pick this default dimension for this particular vendor automatically. Any transaction we do for this vendor, system will pick it as a default dimension. So in the same way, you can give default dimensions here, any other default dimensions. Okay, I think we have crossed a lot of time. So that would be all about the vendor menu. You can once again cross check all the details. Let me know if you find any difficulty in understanding any of them. So most of them are maintainable fields only, not compulsory. You have to understand the key things like this terms of payments, how we can give default terms of payments, and then the sales tax groups and item sales tax groups and withholding tax groups by default. Then addresses and contact information is important, and default financial dimensions is important. Okay. Tomorrow, let's see all these features we have on hold and how we can, what are the options we have here on the top and in various other menus here. We'll see this tomorrow. After completing this, we'll discuss about vendor posting profile. Okay, I think that would be all for today's class. You can drop off if you don't have any notes. If you have one, you can stay back, we can discuss.
Yeah, I have one doubt.
Please.
So while creating the vendor group, we will give the we may give the terms of payment, right?
Correct.
So if we give the vendor group here and creating a vendor account, we don't need to give the terms of payment, right?
Again, here you don't need to give, it will automatically default here.
Yeah, okay. If we want, if you want the for one vendor, if you want different payment day, so while creating this vendor account, we should give the payment day, or else no need to take.
There's a lot of noise actually. Okay. If you want payment day specifically for this vendor, you can remove this terms of payment and give a payment day as your wish. Or there is also option of creating payment days within terms of payments. We have seen it actually, cutoff day with a payment day. So that one also you can give, no problem. Or if you want to change the terms of payment, you can change it to a different terms of payment. Your wish. Got it?
Yeah, okay.
Then anything else, guys, in this part? So not most of them will explain all these details for you, but I have took some time to explain because these are also important. As in perspective of interview, it's not important maybe, but in perspective of your job, it's important to understand all these fields and their importance. Okay, if there are no doubts, we can drop off. It's already late today. We'll meet in tomorrow's class to discuss about the other details we left over in vendor account and posting profiles tomorrow. Okay. Bye, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.